This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today working on another one of these patterns where I've just made it up out of thin air and somehow managed to pull off something pretty amazing. There's only let me start off right off the bat with my gripe. There is one little set of dots that are red that go where I think that should have been yellows, but it's so minute. All the knots in this thing are so minute that you don't even really realize that they're there. So there is a possibility for tweaking this to making it closer to perfect. But that said, this thing turned out really super cool. Right off the bat though, you might notice that it is sped up to like 7 times the actual speed, and that's because it took a couple hours to make, and I knew that I couldn't make a video to last long enough to actually like share all my thoughts and whatever, you know. It would just be I'd run out of thoughts and be stalling for time the whole rest of it. So I sped it up really a lot, and yeah, it is really super cool. I kind of forgot, with doing all the patterns and creating things very specifically, I kind of forgot how much fun it is to just kind of go at pattern making and making something different and having fun with it. Mind you, single-stranded bracelets take so much more time to do because there's so many more knots. Like if you could go knots per inch, right? Single strand takes a lot, double strand takes up less. You can't really do triple. I mean, you kind of could maybe try, but at some point it starts to get so thick that you see lots of gaps in between where they tie together. It doesn't look so good. I tried just to make a really, beefy one before, and it just not as nice. So yeah, right there, those 2 red dots, right? If they had been yellow coming all the way out, it would match what the rest of this pattern kind of does. Those were the red dots. So yeah, that was my only real gripe. And I'm not even sure why I did it that way, considering everything else sort of has one way of doing it. But yeah, overall though, this is not that difficult of a pattern to follow along with. I did have to keep looking at the pattern, but it was kind of easier because, like there, right, the yellow bouncing back, it's red, yellow as it comes down. So you can kind of, if you lose track of where you were, say get up and go use the toilet or something, and you come back, it's really easy to spot where you left off at because there's little like markers along the way. It makes it really easy. Some patterns I've done, it's something about the repetitions in it that makes it harder to spot where you left off at. Not this one. This one is awesome, and I really love the bracelet. I like the fact that it could have been exactly what the whole middle area is, and that would have been a fun bracelet by itself. But the fact that it has these other segments in it that are just different adds even more layers to why I think it's attractive. Like, you get these really great big diamonds. You've got the first section here, like this first section of the purples, it closes off for like no real reason, makes big diamonds, and then goes back to doing what it had been doing. I don't know. It's like I said, just trying out new ideas, trying new things, especially since you can't do this on those websites with the bracelets because of the fact that it doesn't really repeat like a regular, like those other patterns. It kind of does, like in the middle, it's a lot of repeating and a lot of the same old stuff. So if maybe, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if there's a pattern you'd like a segment of, but you want to go kind of crazy with it. This is a great example of how you can do that and make it completely your own. And when people are like, wow, I really like what you made, what's the pattern number? You can be like, I don't have a pattern number, because you're putting your own stamp on it. There's no website has it. It's your own thing. You can go have fun with it. Now, mind you, my viewers can go to my website and get these patterns, because yeah, I totally share them, because, well, you guys want them. That's basically, that's kind of the only reason why. You guys want patterns that I've made, and that's cool. I mean, I get it. You already know what it looks like. You think it looks cool. You want to work with it. That's fine. But hopefully, after a while of watching my videos, you will realize that you can make really cool patterns yourself, and that you'll make fun, nice things. And perhaps as a result of that, I will be one day looking through, I don't know, Instagram or Blue Sky or something, and see a picture of your bracelet and go, wow, I'm gonna go and figure out what that pattern is, because that's the other side of doing these kind of exercises, is that you can look at somebody else's bracelet, figure out what it is that you like, and be able to make it yourself, right? And that's, as a result, yeah, I don't have to go ask questions for a pattern number or anything. I can just take your photo and go ahead and make it. So yeah, that's another one of the perks of watching these videos and learning how to do patterns and stuff. So okay, that first segment area is over with. The purples expand out, make these great big diamonds, and now we go right back into it, right? And it's the same kind of pattern where the yellow and the red kind of take turns as to which one is at the top and which one's underneath it. And then you just have like the yellow, or the orange on the outside. I don't know, it looks super, super cool. And oh, and then it flips in the middle. Like, so you definitely have to kind of keep track of where you are on the pattern, because it will flip. And if you flip it too late, the bracelet will be much longer, and that might be a problem. By the way, I cut the strings in thirds, and it still had plenty of string left over. Like, I could have gone much, much longer with the whole thing. So there was no problem with the pattern using up one color up more than the others. Although I would say like that purple and that orange on the outside definitely get used more than the other ones, but I just don't take chances when it comes to cutting my floss. I don't try to skimp anywhere and then worry about like running out partway through it. Like, that's, to me, as it gets short towards the end, that's just frustrating. That gives me anxiety issues, and I can do without that. I want to do bracelets because it's fun, not because I'm fretting over whether or not I have the string to complete. So yeah, you can kind of tell like I'm really trying to segment this the best I can, and yeah, that works out pretty well. Also kind of keeps me on track of where I am on the pattern, and because that's always a thing too, right? It's not advantageous to segment it in a way that makes it harder for you to see where you are on your pattern. Does that make sense? Right? Because if you make it, I'm absolutely blowing out everything on the right side, but then I lose track of where I am, I'm not saving any time. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're trying to do the segments. That if it's not helping you get along, find a different way. So let's see, it's on the third one of those. Yeah, so it's coming right up towards the middle of this thing now, because there's just those 3 yellow diamonds, and then it kind of comes into that little red dot there. And see, now it's already, the orange is already going back the other direction. I think that's pretty cool. All right, so wait, since we're around the middle and the single end abruptly, let me just quick thank my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members who make this stuff possible. I just want to show them a lot of gratitude for all that they make available, like the string, you know. I have a lot, but that's only because of them. So, and at some point I'm probably going to need more neon string, so that's a thing as well, right? But yeah, thanks guys. And yeah, I'm already kind of running out of things to talk about. Like, I kind of realized, like, this is all, it's a good pattern, it's a fun pattern, the way that it mixes the colors. Like the red dots are red strings, like you can't mess that one up. The yellow dots are a yellow and a red trade-off thing. So in some senses, that becomes really easy to spot which one you're at, because it, you know, it just is. So this whole middle section of the pattern would be really easy to just do the whole bracelet out of that alone. And of course, because you can take my patterns and you can, you know, take the templates and mess around, I think it'd be really easy to figure out what I did for the pattern itself. And then, yeah, just go at it and make just that middle area be your whole bracelet. And it would look cool. I'm not gonna lie, it would look really cool. Me personally, I like the fact that it does a little more than just that, but that's my personal taste. And I don't want a lot of what I've seen when it comes to tutorials, whether it's woodworking or whatever, you see tutorials online, people make these definitive statements, this is how you do it, and they act like there's no other way it could possibly be done. And I don't know about you guys, but that drives me insane. Like, that immediately makes me want to do it different. Like, see, totally different, you know. I don't know if that's part of my ADHD, part of my mind that makes me do that, but yeah, that just makes me insane. Like, no, you can make changes, you can do things, and that's what I want to encourage, that's what I want to teach. I want to inspire you to take a pattern and put your own stamp on it and make it completely somehow different, because I think that's a really cool thing. So hopefully you're getting that. Yeah. So now we're at the second yellow chevron. There'll be one more and that goes into the other part. It really is neat though, right? And it's kind of subtle how the chevron change, you know, the top part coming out and the bottom part coming back in. It's really kind of subtle. The thing that really sticks out is that purple, because the purple is like such a strong contrast to all of the bright colors. But yeah, I think it's really cool. See, now it's going into the diamonds again. Yeah, there's not that much more to go. And I don't know why it surprises me sometimes when working on a pattern like this. Like, I'm probably gonna love pretty much anything I ever put together just because it has symmetry, it has whatever, it's got colors I've chosen, things like that. But there was a lot of satisfaction about completing this one. The first one was cool. The first one I liked, but I really do like this one a lot. I really think there was some really interesting elements that made it kind of fun. It's not a very beginner-friendly bracelet by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot of zigzagging going on. There's, you know, keeping the tension right. It could be an issue, especially if you're working as far away from the clip as I am. But that's just because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. And make it look nicer for the video, I guess. I think it looks nicer for the video. Anyway, but yeah, it's such a cool bracelet. Oh, and even though I totally knew by the second half of the bracelet that those little pink dots were annoying to me, I still put it in because, you know, symmetry, and I didn't want the owner to be like, wait a minute, why is there, you know, the yellow only goes out a little bit on this one and it's all the way on the other side. I stuck to it, you know. That's the kind of commitment I have towards symmetry, is even if I don't like a bit that I somehow put in there for whatever unknown reason, I stick to the bit. I make sure that it's still symmetrical. And yeah, somebody is going to have this thing on the wrist, and maybe after having looked at it for, you know, a couple hundred times, they might pick up on the, I wonder why that's different. And there will be no answer to it because I don't know why I did it different. I honestly, I'm not even sure. So yeah. And if that makes you want to buy the bracelet, cool. It'll be out at the end of the month. Well, end of the year. Because I need them for the end of the month review. But then, yeah, it'll go into the shop. But yeah, I have no idea. I have no reasoning for it. We're really close to the end now. Oh, and these bracelets do take a whole lot longer to make. So when you look at the price tag in the shop, understand that some of it isn't just the material, some of it is about time. And yeah, so I'm not sure what these ones go for. I'll let my wife handle most of all of that. See, there's those pink dots. See, told you I put them in there. I'll let my wife handle it, and so I don't really think about that kind of stuff that much. I just worry about coming up with the next pattern. In fact, I'm not even sure what the next one will be, but I have enough of this string left over to make one more. So I'm going to wing it and try to come up with something cool. So yeah, that's going to be a thing. And honestly, when these bracelets come available, if you pick up all three, they will look cool as a set because they're all going to be the same width and the same length. They'll just be all very different patterns. So if you have a couple friends and you want to like mark it off, that would be a really cool thing you could do. All right, cool. Check it out. Only a couple more chevrons to go, and it is done. Yeah, and I love doing the chevrons at the end of a bracelet. Honestly, it's so much easier to pull it together and have the tension really nice, and then it's the last knot at the middle that really holds everything together. So yeah, it's really cool. And then here comes the big reveal. Wait, no, I still have to do the red ones, right? Okay. Almost time for the big reveal. Got ahead of myself. I had to look down into the bracelet like, oh, nope, there's a red one. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.